Section 14 of Narratives of Colored Americans. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Nicole Kristen. Narratives of Colored Americans by Abigail Mott and M.S. Wood. The Missionary Box. A few years ago, two young Africans went to England to obtain an education and then returned to Africa to teach their countrymen the gospel of Jesus Christ. One of them, George Nicole, while staying near London, walked a considerable distance. In his walk, he came to Hampstead Heath, from which he could see the city of London before him. The principal buildings attracted his attention. A labourer who was breaking stones on the other side of the road kept looking at him. No doubt it seemed strange to him to see a coloured man looking at the view he had himself seen every day for many years past. And in his eyes, perhaps, the wonder would be increased by seeing the African dressed like a respectable Englishman. While George Nicole stood gazing on the scene, the labourer kept peeping at him from time to time, but never thought of speaking. Presently, George Nicole turned to him and asked in good English what a certain building was which he saw in the distance. The labourer answered civilly that it was St. Paul's Church, and then replied to several other questions, till he had pointed out the chief buildings of the great city, which could be seen from the hill on which they were standing. When this was done, after a short pause, the African said, "Well, my friend, you have here a very large and magnificent city, but after all, it is not to be compared to the city of God, the heavenly Jerusalem, which I hope you and I will both see one day." If the honest labourer was surprised before, his astonishment was much greater now. "Why," said he, "do you know anything about such things?" "Yes, thank God," replied the African. "I am happy to say I do. It was not always so. I was once in darkness and knew nothing of the true God, but good missionaries from England came and taught me about Jesus Christ, and now I live in hope of one day seeing him in that beautiful city, the heavenly Jerusalem, where I shall dwell with him forever." By this time the good Englishman had thrown down the hammer with which he had been breaking stones. He came across the road and, grasping Nicole's hand, exclaimed, "Why then, you are one of them that I have been praying for these 20 years. I never put a penny into the missionary box without saying, 'God bless the coloured man.'" It rejoiced the heart of the good African not a little to find in the humble stone breaker a friend who had taken such a deep interest in the people of Africa. And if his pleasure was so great, the labourer's was not less, for he saw in George Nicole an answer to his prayers, and a sure proof that his missionary money had not been spent in vain. He felt the truth of the words, "Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days." End of the Missionary Box. He never told a lie. Mungo Park, in the account of his African travels, relates that a Negro youth was killed by a shot from a party of Moors. His mother walked before the corpse as it was carried home, frantic with grief, clapping her hands and declaring her son's good qualities. "He never told a lie," cried the bereaved mother. "He never told a lie. No, never." End of section 14.